So yesterday we learned that Achashverosh, his name is connected to two things. Achashverosh has in his name the words beginning and end, Achas Reshus, because he represents this infinite light of Hashem that incorporates both beginning and end, higher and lower. And Achashverosh also is related to the word darkness because he caused there to be such pain in the Jewish people, it darkened their faces. So the question obviously is, if Achashverosh is about this lofty light of Hashem, then why is there all this darkness and pain? It's a lofty light, lofty revelation. So it would seem that that precludes any kind of pain. On the contrary, it's a huge thing. It's a revelation of the infinite light of Hashem, and we answer that it's precisely the opposite. Because it's infinite, so it's similar to a cobweb in a king's palace, that because a king is so exalted, so he doesn't mind the fact that there's a cobweb. So in a similar way, because of Hashem's greatness, it's possible for there to be klippah. Because of Hashem's infinity, that's the source of klippah. That's the source of the unholy. Gemara says, if I remember correctly, that after destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the sages wanted to take out a word from Shemona Esrei. Which word? We say Hashem is great. We say Hashem is strong. We say Hashem is awesome. So they're like, where is the greatness and the awesomeness? And then they said, Adrab. It's the opposite. This is the most awesome thing. This is his awesomeness, that despite the fact that there are people who are dancing in his chamber, in his palace, and they're desecrating it, and he's still quiet. That expresses his greatness. So how does that express his greatness? So basically what we're saying here, we understand it, because it's precisely because of Hashem's infinity that he's able to stand, so to speak, the existence of the unholy. This is the famous Chassidic concept that whatever has a higher source, falls lower, has a higher source. It's precisely because of Hashem's infinite power that there's a possibility for there to be nourishment to klippah. So from Haman's perspective, it seems like everything is going really well. Achashverosh, infinite light, leaves room for klippah. He's doing well. But Haman isn't satisfied with this. Why not? Because Haman doesn't just want things to be difficult. Haman wants things to be, he wants absolute annihilation of all Jewish people in one day. Men, women, and children all dead in one day. So since his desire is to not only that Hashem should, so to speak, ignore the virtues of the Jewish people in comparison to the wickedness of Haman, but Hashem should look at them completely equal. So the level called Achashverosh, the level which incorporates beginning and end, isn't infinite enough, if you will, because the very fact we're calling it Achashverosh, which has the words beginning and end in it, indicates that there's some relationship to hierarchy at this level. It's not something which there's nothing else completely, but that darkness and light are completely equal. The very fact that Achashverosh's name has the words Acheres, beginning, and Reshus, end and beginning in it, that itself indicates that there's some relationship to hierarchy. And therefore, there isn't this total equality between evil and good, between light and darkness. And that's why Haman made the lottery. The lottery, in just like by human being, a lottery is something that you make when two things are completely equal to you. So Haman wanted to connect with this totally infinite light of Hashem, higher than the level that we are referring to as Achashverosh, where things are literally equal, where it's so infinite, so beyond that just like, as one chassid put it, compared to the infinity of Hashem, being coarse doesn't make you more distant, and being more refined doesn't make you closer, because it's infinite. Since it's infinite, it's all the same. Or as Abdullah Parcher said about Abzalman Zezmer, he said it's not that he said compared to Abdullah Parcher, Abzalman Zezmer, I'm like a cat, and I don't mean to say the distance between me and the cat is the same distance as between me and Abzalman Zezmer. Rather, but compared to this great intellectual Abzalman Zezmer, me and the cat are the same. So compared to this infinite light of Hashem, which is called the lottery, that's a word we're using to describe this. Good and evil and darkness and light are all the same, and therefore Haman says, I have a chance over here. This level, I have a chance for my plot to be fulfilled. I know what David is thinking. David is thinking, one second. By the king's palace. In the king's palace, it makes sense that the king is such a huge palace, doesn't matter to him what's happening, the cobwebs in the corner over there. Okay, I get that. But Hashem created the klipa. He didn't just allow them to exist, he made them. So in the PDF I just sent you, look in note Yud Gimel, it's on page Yud Dalet. Shmavis b'yadayim tispas v'yibech lemelech. Cobwebs are in your hands in the king's palace. Shmamis shmamis means not a cobweb. Shmamis means a spider. A spider is a creature that causes there to be dirt. And yet, where do you find the spider? You find it specifically in the king's chamber. In a regular house, you kick the spider out so it shouldn't get dirty. On the other hand, in the king's chamber, because the king is so great, doesn't mind the dirt of the spider. But nevertheless, however, if the spider would destroy the king's palace, for sure the king would kick the spider out. Well, that is a benimshal. So too in the analog. But from the perspective of this light of Hashem, which is somewhat infinite, that we're referring to by the name Achashverosh, it's possible for there to be dirt in the palace, but not that the palace should be destroyed. But it seems that the parable is not similar to the analog. In the parable, the spider comes to the palace and the king doesn't kick the spider out. But it's not that he brings the spider there. But in the Beis Hamikdash, in the story of Purim, Hashem invites and creates Achashverosh to wreak havoc among the Jewish people and to cause everyone's face to be darkened by their pain. In general, by Hashem, you can't say something happens by itself. Everything happens by Hashem's desire, so nothing is happening on its own. We have to say, we have to say that Hashem desires that human beings should recognize God's greatness. Next page. And we should also recognize that Hashem is so infinite that He is able to stand the existence of Klippa. Therefore, Hashem causes His light to reach the Klippa that don't deserve to receive this nourishment. And those who destroy the Beis Hamikdash dance in His chamber, and He is quiet. This shows Hashem's infinity, and He's able to stand that. So this is the difference between Achashverosh and Haman. From the perspective of Achashverosh, from the perspective of the infinite light of Hashem, there could be hardship, there could be trouble. And that gives the Jewish people this. Rabbi Soloveitchik once said, why is pain so painful? that pain is so painful. Why is pain so lonely? Rabbi Soloveitchik said, because pain. He studied Chassidus, and he definitely was tapping into that Chassidic knowledge with his statement. He said pain is so lonely because pain comes from the lonely part of God, whatever that means. But what we're learning over here is because Hashem is infinite, He's lonely, He is infinitely higher than the worlds. That's why He's able to allow there to be something that's painful. That gives us this sense of faith in Hashem and the connection to something which is infinite, that we know that there's something about Hashem that we don't know. We have this, there is Hasagas Achiv, there's knowing what you know. There's Hasagas Hashem, knowing what you don't know. So because of Hashem's infinity, that allows there to be this existence of something that challenges us and makes us and resort to deeper faith in Hashem and this lonely, painful feeling, Chas v'shalom. But that doesn't cause the Jewish people to be annihilated. Haman wanted annihilation. From the perspective of the Makif, of the infinite light of Hashem, there is some value to Klippa because Klippa contributes to this sense of faith in an infinite God that we can't understand. But there has to be Jews to have that faith. From the perspective of the infinite light of Hashem, there has to be creatures that recognize Hashem's greatness. And just that Hashem is so infinite so that we could acknowledge Hashem's greatness in seeing evil triumph. We could see Hashem's infinity. I don't know if you'll get this or not, but I don't think this is very whatever. Loser Reichik, he at Engelsund, just in town. I remember one year it rained on the Labor Day parade, and he's like, made me have doubts in the God that I believe in. But it rained also in Brooklyn that year on the Lag B'Omer parade. He says, this is the God that I believe in. Chas v'shalom. It's not Hashem is not a sadist. Hashem isn't Murphy's law. But on the other hand, the Gemara does say, Hanayra, where do you see God's awesomeness? You see God's awesomeness in the fact that He allows Klippa to exist. So that's in the perspective of Achashverosh. That's in the perspective of the light of Hashem. That is, sorry for the sacrilegious comment, but that's in the perspective of the infinite light of Hashem that leaves room for the existence of Klippa. But that still says the Jewish people should be there to recognize God's greatness. Haman wanted there shouldn't be any Jews there. So from the perspective of God's infinity, that can't happen. And therefore, Haman wanted to tap into Goyro, and that there should be a choice. Hashem should flip the dice and flip the coin, and things could be totally either on the side of Haman or the side of the Jewish people, but there's a chance of total annihilation because at the level of Goyro, there is no better and worse, there's no higher and lower, all there is Hashem, and everything else is nothing and it's insignificant, and therefore who needs the Jewish people? From the perspective of Goyro, who needs Hashem's greatness to be recognized? All there is Him. That's why Haman wanted there to be the lottery. He wasn't satisfied with Achashverosh. And yet the lottery didn't work, as we shall see. Let's go to further on a page, Yudalid, Ois Ches. V'hinei k'moi shegel ma'al mesech u'ma gam meratzen al derez emen gel b'chirash u'ma gam mesech u'ma gam meratzen. Just like a lottery is something that is higher than your understanding, higher than your desire, you decide based upon how the coin lands on heads or tails, you decide that's the way you're going to think and that's the way you're going to operate. So your lottery is something that dictates what you're going to think and what you're going to do. There's also another soul power called choice, which also is higher than intellect and higher than desire. The kashi sichli machayev shtav zeroi l'bchimvei gam shuritz bez davar shlotzes mayam seichel ayimucha bezev in the bechachavshis. If your mind tells you this is the right move, you have to do that. The Rebbe writes in another place that an intellectual is someone, a human being is someone who has intellect, and when your mind gravitates to a choice, you are more compelled to do that than if someone would hit you in the head and say you have to choose that. Your mind gravitating to choice A is more compelling than being forced physically to one side. So if your choice is it has to be this way, just logical, it's not really a choice. Your mind is compelling you to go that way. That's not called free choice. The true concept of free choice, next page, the true concept of free choice is when there's no intellect dictating which way you should choose, and your desire isn't dictating which way you should choose either. Rather, this is what you were choosing because you decided. Dr. Bressman chose that had a shirt or a sweater. That's a nice sweater. Did you choose that sweater, or did the sweater choose you? You were born with this innate appreciation for that sweater. Okay, fine, your wife chose a sweater. That's fine. So so very often we choose clothing because we are born with this appreciation for a certain kind of color and whatever. So free choice really means that there's no intellect and there's no desire that is compelling you to choose something. It's you are choosing something because you want to choose it. The difference between a lottery and a choice is both a lottery and a choice are both things that indicate that it's not intellect that's pulling you somewhere. Because if intellect was pulling you somewhere, you wouldn't have to take a lottery. There wouldn't be a choice involved if your intellect was pulling you somewhere. There wouldn't be a choice being made if your desire, I just felt I really want this. A choice is only when there's absolute equality between both options. The difference between a lottery and a choice is, when you have a lottery, what do? You say, I'm letting go of my decision. I'm going to follow the decisions of the coin. It's not about you, it's about the coin. I don't know what to do, so I'm left to make this decision based upon the lottery. You're totally zoning out yourself and you're listening to the way the lottery will dictate. There's no sense of self there. That's in a scenario where you make a lottery. It's not about you, it's about the lottery. You can't figure it out. Things are totally equal. So you have to follow the lottery. We have to decide based upon the lottery. You feel forced in a way to make this decision based upon the lottery because you don't know which way to go. But a choice means that you say, no, I am making this decision. I'm not leaving this up to, hey, Shalom Aleichem. I'm not leaving this up to, so to speak, fate. No such thing as fate. I'm leaving this up to the way the lottery the coin will happen to fall. I'm sending you the file now to your phone. We're on page Tezvav. When you make a lottery, you're saying to yourself, I can't figure this out. These two things are equal. I can't figure this out. So therefore, I'm going to throw the dice. I'm going to flip the coin. But there is a scenario where you don't know how to decide. And instead of you making a lottery, what you do is you say, I'm going to make this decision anyways. I'm not going to flip the coin. Who is making the decision? It's not your logic. It's not your desire. It's your very core that's making the decision. So a choice comes from a deeper place than a lottery. A lottery is made because there's a part of you that says there is just no way to choose this. This is just equal. This part of you which says there can't be a choice here. You're forced to make that lottery. You feel forced to make the lottery because there can't be a choice. A choice, despite the fact that two things are equal, means that you rise higher than that part of your soul which says, I can't make a choice. And you say, no, I am going to choose. It's deeper. There's a part of yourself which says these two things are equal. Then there's a part of yourself which says, the essence, the very core of yourself which says, I'm making a choice. So that is what happens in the story of Purim. Haman says to Hashem, listen, Hashem, you're infinite. Everything's equal. And therefore, why choose one over the other? It's all the same. At the level of lottery, that's true. But Hashem says, I'm not forced to looking at things from my infinity. I can look at things from who I am. Let's read the next paragraph. If you see it? The bottom of page says, in a choice, there are two elements. The fact that two things seem equal to you, that's a part of yourself which says that I'm going to ignore my your logic doesn't pull you in a certain way, your desire doesn't pull you a certain way. You feel that there's just, or there's either an advantage of either the two paths that you could choose. Either there's an advantage in either, or there's neither of them have an advantage, and therefore to you they're equal. Or it's possible that you're in yourself, these two options are so meaningless to you, so that it doesn't matter which way you go, and therefore you make the lottery. And then there is the essence of your soul, literally, which says, I'm making a choice. I know in our choices that we make in life, we don't always have to resort to the essence of our soul. When you're choosing chocolate and vanilla, that's a very important choice for many of us, especially for me. I mean, vanilla, no question. Anyways, but when there is a choice between chocolate and vanilla, and you can't choose between them, that means that they both options aren't meaningful to you. And the fact that you choose anyways, who is choosing? You're choosing because you decided to choose. Next page. The PDF is a little tricky. You have to go down to the right. Page Zayin. There's a part of the soul which we're calling lottery. The part of the soul which says these two things are equal. The part of the soul which says doesn't matter. And there's the essence of the soul which says I want A. The essence of the soul doesn't remain in its core, and the essence of the soul it permeates the rest of the soul as well, so that even the part of the soul which we called before lottery, which says everything's equal, is also influenced and also says, okay, we're going to choose this way. It trickles down into the level called lottery and into the desire and into the intellect and to the feeling, so that the choice affects every part of the soul. In a similar way, by the Eibishter, when we say that Hashem chooses the Jewish people, it's not that the choice of Hashem remains at Hashem's core, but the choice of Hashem also influences the lottery. It also influences the level of godliness, which is infinite, where things can go both ways. It says, you support my fortune, my lot, my lottery. Hashem causes the lottery, that the lottery should be according to the choice of his essence. There is a level called the lottery, where things are equal and can go both ways. But because of Hashem's choice and his essence, that he chooses to love Yaakov, that also influences the infinite light of Hashem, that the infinite light of Hashem should also channel the Jewish people and favor the Jewish people. This is the reason for the pasuk that we say before we build a shofar. On Rosh Hashanah, we say you should choose your inheritance. You should choose the pride of Yaakov, the strength of Yaakov. To be Yaakov, it says that Yaakov is called the lottery, so to speak, of Hashem. Even at a level where you could say that dark and light are the same, that good and bad are the same, that's all this, that nothing's important. We ask Hashem when we blow the shofar, they should choose the Jewish people, and the choice of your essence should impact, not just, it should remain in your essence, but that should affect your infinite light as well, and it should channel to the world as well. Yeah. And this is the reason why this answers the questions we started the Mimer with. We asked the question at the beginning of the Mimer, why is the holiday of Purim called lottery? Lottery seems to be something Haman made. Haman made the lottery to destroy the Jewish people. It's not our holiday. Our holiday is despite the fact that he made a lottery, Hashem saved us. So our holiday is not about, we should make a holiday called lottery. It's identical to making a holiday seemingly called gas chamber, because we were saved from the gas chambers. Haman wanted to kill us all with his lottery. Why are we celebrating the lottery? The answer is, the way the lottery came out was according to the desire of a God's essence. That even though indeed Esav is a brother to Yaakov, at the level of the lottery, the level of infinity, Yaakov isn't better than Esav, and Esav isn't worse than Yaakov. Nevertheless, God says, I love Yaakov and I hate Esav. This is what Ari, this is what you're saying last week. And through the sacrifice of the Jewish people all year, where does sacrifice come from? How did we have sacrifice? Where did that come from? Sacrifice comes from the very core of a Jew. The essence of a Jew chooses the essence of Hashem. Why did we choose Hashem in the story of Purim? This was a very unique, majestic moment that we were discussing on Shabbos. In the story of Hanukkah, some Jews chose to be with Matasyahu. Most Jews didn't. In the story of we left Mitzrayim, some Jews went with Moshe Rabbeinu out of Mitzrayim. Most Jews didn't. One opinion of Medrash is 1 out of 5 went with Moshe. Another opinion of Medrash is 1 out of 50 went with Moshe. Another opinion of Medrash is 1 out of 500 went with Moshe out of Mitzrayim. The rest died in the plague of darkness. So not everyone came. But by the story of Purim, when Esther said, I want everyone to gather together to pray for me, who prayed for the Jewish people? Who came together? Every single Jew, man, woman, and child, we were all there. Every single Jew was there. On Purim, there was a revelation of the very essence of a Jew that chooses Hashem. And not just for a moment, but for a whole year, the Jewish people heard the clarion call of Mordechai, we're with you, as the children said to Mordechai, dead or alive. So because we chose Hashem, that revealed Hashem's choice in us. Through the sacrifice of the Jewish people throughout the entire year, which our sacrifice comes from very core, because the essence of the neshama chooses Hashem. This caused and for God's choice in us to be drawn down into this world and be revealed. Next page, Yudzayin. That caused that the lottery in heaven should land in a way, as we say in the Havdalah, quoting a verse from Megillah, the Jewish people had light and joy and gladness and honor happen in this world. It wasn't just Hashem chose something in his essence, but his choice was revealed in the level called lottery and in this world. And Haman and his children were hung on the tree. And the Pasuk emphasizes, why do we call the holiday Purim? Because of this lottery. Which lottery are we referring to? We're talking about Haman's lottery. We're celebrating his lottery. Why? Commentaries in the Megillah say the whole story doesn't make sense. The Megillah starts off with, because of his servant, Memuchan, he kills his queen, Vashti. And at the end of the Megillah, because of his queen, Esther, he kills his servant, Haman. The whole story doesn't make sense. The whole reason why Hashem wanted Haman to have this plot to destroy the Jewish people was only in order to reveal how he chooses us. That was the whole point to begin with. Why did Hashem allow Haman to make this plot? It was only to give us the Yontav of Purim, to reveal Hashem's choice in us. So why do we celebrate Purim? Because of the lottery of Haman. What was the point of the lottery of Haman? So we should have Purim. That's why Hashem allowed there to be a Haman. Hashem allowed there to be a girdle, to be a lottery to destroy us, to reveal that Hashem chooses us. And that's why, as we'll see tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, why the lottery fell out in the month of Adar, which is a month of when Moshe Rabbeinu was born, a month of great miles of the Jewish people. All right, any questions or comments or criticism or tomatoes or cucumbers? All right, have a great day, Daria. Great day, Dr. Beryl. Great day, Dr. Bressman. Great day, Michal Mordechai. Great day, David. Bye, Gesund.